the Dirty Sports Podcast. I said, welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast with Andy Ruther and Joe Prano. Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast.
Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Andy Ruther, coming to you live from Cincinnati, Ohio, with my co-host from Port Hueneme, California.
Correct.
Joey No Chill Prano.
Hello, Andy.
You weren't watching the intro, bro.
I know. It's so funny. I'm so used to not paying attention during the intro because everybody was like, you guys like dancing and singing along, like whatever. It's all awkward. And so then the song hit and I was like, all right, let me finish up these two things. And then I completely missed the DJ Sizzle edited intro. Now it's pretty close to the one you sent me the other day, yesterday.
Why don't I do this? Why don't I just play it?
Okay.
I can mute it. I can mute it.
Yeah.
Why don't I just I'll just pull up
I know there's a lot of floating heads.
There's a lot of floating heads going on here. Let's just pull it up.
I love
Hey, see?
I mean, there's Soto, there's Kobe, Mark
Russ,
Davis. I don't even know who's
Brady.
I
I mean,
Russ on the top left.
well, hold on. Let's Yoshi,
Yoshi. That's
Belichick,
Yoshi.
Burrow, Jordan, Gruden,
I love
LeBron James. But
it.
who do
DJ
we,
Sizzle.
well, look at this.
Yeah.
Who do we got before it? Okay, we got.
We had Merriman in there. Look at that. There's Eli, Stephen A. Smith. You got
Evil
Jalen Brunson,
Tebow.
Carmelo, Evil Tebow.
Is that Jalen Brunson?
Yeah.
Pete Alonso?
Who's on the bottom left down there? It's Kellen Winslow Jr.
Alan Winslow Jr.
and Jameis. Wow. I love the Merriman. I love the row in the middle. Evil Tebow, Aaron Hernandez, Jameis, Odell, Sean Merriman.
Unbelievable.
And look at the GOAT there at the top left. Sharing a row with Antonio Brown, Lamar Jackson, OJ. I mean, my GOATs are in the top right and the top left. There it is. Bill Walton and Eli Manning, the only two men I need in my life. One angel here on earth and one angel up in heaven.
I'm just picturing Bill Walton in a TP with these dudes.
Yeah.
What are these guys talking about?
Evil Tebow, are you finger blasting a Taco Bell employee?
Well, how we doing, man? You're in the middle of some wild stuff.
I am. I mean, it's funny because I'm not in the middle of some wild stuff, but a lot of people, in my proximity are. I was yesterday. I did go to. I was supposed to go to work at the Adam Carolla show, and our studio had no power, so we worked from a hotel in Burbank, which was interesting. Driving, I took the 101 there, but then I took the 118 home. The 118 goes up over Simi Valley, and you get up to a pretty decent elevation, and so you're looking out all basically across LA, across the valley. And the coast and the Santa Monica Mountains or whatever are probably 25-30 miles out the window to my left. And it was daytime when I was driving home. I could see obviously the crazy apocalyptic smoke, but even during the daylight, the smoke that was over the Palisades in Malibu, the fires were raging so hard you could see the orange of the flames in the cloud of smoke, which is something, you see in the evening. Like, how powerful the flames have to be for them to illuminate clouds during the daytime. It's just crazy. And I've seen video of a lot of places that you and I, being in LA for as long as we have, both know are gone. Real Inn is gone, entirely gone. Rosenthal Wines, which was right there, totally gone. Moon Shadows, gone. Gone. Fell into the ocean, I guess. Burned to a crisp and fell down to the shore. All of those houses they called the sand castles, like the west of PCH houses. I think a better portion of those are just entirely destroyed.
Yeah.
And then there's fire. I drove out to Adam's show in Burbank area, Glendale area yesterday. There's a fire that's raging in Altadena. There's a fire that's up this way. There's a fire that started in Studio City last night that they, I think, contained. Fire that started up on Sunset area that I think they've mostly contained. But the Palisades Malibu situation is fully uncontained. So it's craziness. I mean, you are a guy like me. We both love the beach. We both love, PCH, just going for a drive with PCH. That is going to be a completely different thing for, a decade or forever. I mean, essentially forever. It'll never look the way it did.
Yeah. It's tough, man.
And you and I both know, I'm not sure that they'll allow a lot of those things to even be rebuilt. Because, I mean, think about the, whatever your opinion on climate change and et cetera is, but houses being built with, wood pylons going into the sand, is that something that the city of Los Angeles is going to allow to go in fresh and new? I understand in the 60s and the 70s when people put houses into the sand, there's a whole different world, but I don't know that a lot of those houses will ever go back up.
Yeah, it's I talked about it a lot. I recorded an episode of the Andy Ruther show last night. And I was just saying, for me, and it's the same way for you, it's places where you have memories. And just for me, the amount of time I went up that coastline on that path, whether it was running or on the bike path, I mean, it was a part of my daily life, right?
Yeah.
And then I was thinking, when I was training for the LA Marathon, I would go into the Palisades and I would go, I forget the name of the subdivision. I'm sure it's Toast, but I would run up that. It's it's literally running up a mountain and very nice houses. And I would, I spent so much time in those areas. I worked at kids camp right at Will Rogers State Beach. And it's just
the Will Rogers house.
Yeah, it's gone. I know. It's depressing, man.
Yeah.
It's really depressing.
There was pictures. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's coming out, and then there's a lot of stuff that's, fake news. I hate to use the phrase, but the Hollywood sign is not on fire. So that's still there. The Getty Villa seems like it's going to be okay, although it's probably too soon to tell. But there was video kind of showing flames encroaching on the Getty Villa. That's not actually the Getty Villa. That's just the sign. But it's crazy. For me, now that I live up here, going to any of our old sort of haunts, going to Santa Monica, going to West Side Comedy Theater, going to Venice, going to my brothers in the Marina, all that. Basically, for me to go anywhere but LA proper, I always just go down PCH.
Yeah.
And
same.
That's going to be like a fucking, it's going to be like driving through a graveyard for, it'll essentially be like the equivalent of a New Yorker having to commute through Ground Zero every day, not around it, but like through it, because both sides of PCH for Malibu and Palisades and Topanga. I'm interested to see what survived and what didn't, you know?
Yeah, it's bad, dude. I mean, that's the word I kept using. Apocalyptic. It looks like something you read out of like the Old Testament.
Yeah.
I mean, the video I saw of the Palisades looked like a war. Looked like it was Kabul after just the bombing, or somewhere in Iraq or Kyiv or some shit in Ukraine. Like it, it just, it's like, I don't know, it's crazy. And then the evacuations, and then the fires keep spreading, and like you said, you don't know what to believe, and it's like somebody's starting some of these, like,
Yeah. And probably, for sure, what's crazy is, and if you know anything about fire, like from science, or you know anything about fire like I do because I had pyromaniac brothers, oxygen is everything for a fire. And what's crazy is, how does all this start? And it's like, when these winds are going like this, anything can literally can spark a fire, like power lines going down obviously can spark a fire, but like somebody throwing a cigarette out their window, you throw a cigarette out in front of a fan sometime and just see how it lights up. Obviously, homeless people are always making fires for warmth, for cooking,
meth.
For whatever. There's the thing that happens today, obviously, in social media and the world, just the America that we live in. Everything is, politicized and made divisive, and this is all because LA lets homeless people do whatever they want, and homeless people are cooking the city. It's like, okay, this has been happening for a long time here through different governors and different mayors and different whatever. The Santa Ana winds are fucking crazy. And this is the craziest winds I've ever dealt with. I mean, driving to Burbank in the last couple of days with the wind, things are flying by that you're like, that's what you would use to hold down something in the wind. Like, oh, I have I've got a table in my backyard. I should put a big piece of wood on it so it doesn't flow away. The wood is blowing, but you're like, Jesus, like the paper weights are what are flying around. I mean, our boy Jonesy, I don't know if you saw, he had a straight up tree like hit his window while he was driving his car on like the 2 freeway. And it's like, how does a tree branch move in the wind? And it's like, well, when you have 100-mile-an-hour winds, 120-mile-an-hour winds at some spot, it's crazy. I mean, right now I've got my door open because my dogs are outside. Everything in my room that's paper is fluttering. And I would say that the winds are off compared to how they've been. Car blowing across the thing. First of all, let me also say thank you to everybody all the dirtballs and people who have sent me messages. I've told everybody I am in a very interesting area because I'm just north of Malibu. A lot of fires. I'm just, west of the Simi Valley and all that stuff that I take to come over 118. Fires over there. There's fires in Ventura. I am sort of boxed in by farmland, ocean, and multiple military bases. So as far as things not natural to catch on fire or man protected like military bases, I am it's not impossible for a fire to reach us here, but it is highly improbable. So I'm in a safe space, if you will, but thank you to everybody who reached out. But for me to go to PCH from here or to go to 101, I've got to take a road through about 10 miles of farmland. So farmland, You know, they're growing kale and fucking lettuce and shit like that. So none of that stuff's going to catch fire. But lining those farms, a lot of people put up, you know, have planted trees probably 50, 60 years ago to kind of box in their farm. Like, this is where our farm is. I drove by yesterday and there was just a huge truck driving by, caking those trees with water. Like, it wasn't even a fire. It was just like, I've never even seen something capable of throwing water. And it was just like, well, if there's anything that could kind of lead the fire to my hood, there's like a line of trees, like one line of trees, and they were just dousing it to make sure that those don't catch fire. It's crazy. It's you've been here when there's wildfires. You've been here when these winds get going. The winds have gotten going to an extent I've never seen, and the fires, it's just crazy. Like, the Palisades isn't a forest. The Palisades is a city that butts up against, you know, some nature. But typically, and you know this because in Venice, we were never really in danger. Once you kind of hit streets, residences, pavement, houses, that kind of tends to be where the fires stop. They kind of like Eddie's area up where I used to live in Montanito. He's inside of trees. So that's always going to be like a dangerous area. You live in Topanga, you're in a dangerous area. Palisades is a fucking neighborhood. The idea that it burnt down is crazy.
Yeah, I was looking at my phone last night. Like, you're talking about the last time when I lived there, it was November 2018. I don't know if you remember. That was the first time where like the sky was hazy. It was really bad in Malibu. And I got on my bike one day and took it to the edge where you can on that path. But you're right. Like that's nothing. I remember the sky was like orange on a Saturday. I went for a run outside and I was like, should I be doing this? And I don't know if you remember that Venice, it smelled like barbecue everywhere. But like that was on such a small scale.
Yeah.
Compared to this.
You know, also the idea that like in Malibu, typically, you know, those beach homes, they're separated. There's no vegetation on the beach.
Yeah.
So it's just crazy to me that, you know, that means those are being linked by each other. Some house caught fire and then it just caught the one next to it.
It was the wind, man.
The one next to it.
It's taking that ember. It's just taking that ember and just like.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm going to let my dogs in really quick.
Do that.
I'll be right back.
Do that. Yeah, the whole situation's bad. And it's just depressing, to be honest, as I was saying on the Andy Ruther show. Like, living there 13 years of my life, and you see all these great places where you have memories, especially with other people or with other loved ones, and restaurants where, oh, I have this story, or I have this story, or this time, and you see when it goes, you're like, I can never go there again. Like that's what's tough for me. Obviously, I don't live there anymore. It doesn't. Obviously, I'm not. Of course, I'll be out. It's like, oh, I can't go to X, Y, or Z anymore. It doesn't exist.
I mean, something like and things like the Real Inn, which I don't know if you'd ever been there, but like that's like, you know, Duke's in Malibu, which may or may not still be there. Gladstone, stuff like that. Like that's.
I think Gladstone's got hit pretty hard.
Yeah, Gladstone's. Duke's is questionable. Gladstone's is gone.
It's gone.
Yeah. Moon Shadows.
Gone. Yeah.
Those places, but like something like the Real Inn, that's like kind of almost a historical. It's like a thing you do. Like people come to town and you're like, hey, you want to go? Like, so it's wild. Some of the things that are gone.
Yeah, I actually have a Walt and Joanne Ruther Gladstone story involving Miller Lite.
Really?
Yeah. So, and that's tough. I'll be honest. Seeing that guy, I have some great photos with my parents there. I think 2000. shit, I don't know, 2010. But we were at Gladstone's, and my dad, this was like day 3 or 4 of my dad out in LA. He just could not handle the prices. Like his brain, his Midwest, Cincinnati, born and raised brain could not handle the prices of food, drinks, just everything. And at that point, my mom was really annoyed with him because he kept being
It's
cheap.
one of those things like, we heard you.
Yeah. Or just whatever stances he would take. So anyway, we go to Gladstone's. It's a Sunday, and it was actually a really windy Sunday. I think it was March they were out there. But anyway, my dad was looking at the beer prices. This is like, I don't know, a noon lunch or something. And he just was like, he's like, he gets a water. And my mom's like, you need to get over this. And they get in like a big argument. And my mom just kept ordering Miller Lights for herself.
Yes.
True story. She literally was just like, I'll have another one. Andy, do you want a Miller Lite? And it was just, she kept ordering Miller Lights and was like, dude, we're on vacation, essentially visiting our kid. The ocean is right here. And you're hung up on the big city prices.
Yeah.
So my mom, she was going hard on the Miller Lite. And look, Joe, you know this. I mean, look, there's never a bad time to just sit back and relax and just drink some Miller Lite. Like my dad, the ocean's there. You're with your son, you're with your wife. Just enjoy it. Drink Miller Lights, man.
And if you're, listen, the hero of that story is Joanne, no doubt about it. If there's a hero in that tale, it's Joanne. It's like, I'm going to do what I got to do to have a Miller Lite and enjoy myself.
Yeah.
But if you're a Walt, let's say you're a Walt out there, and prices are crazy everywhere these days. The price of a Miller Lite at Gladstone's in whatever year that was is probably the price of a Miller Lite at your local watering hole these days.
Sure.
So if you're a Walt, MillerLite.com/dirty sports. Get that delivered to home. Get those home delivery prices.
Exactly. Look, obviously my parents were Miller Lite drinkers. It's the taste that my mom knew she could depend on. My dad liked it. The OG light beer. All those great memories of Miller Lite in the fridge growing up here in Cincinnati. He should have taken it to California, but you guys can get it right to your house. You can take it anywhere, like Joe's saying. You can have it delivered anywhere. MillerLite.com/dirty sports. Miller Lite, great taste, 96 calories. Once again, go to MillerLite.com/dirty sports to find delivery options near you, or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere that sells beer. Tastes like Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces. Yeah, dude, I have some photos. Now I'm thinking about it. I have some good photos with my dad, like on the rocks by Gladstone, in a frame that's from my parents' house, but it's probably in storage. And then of course I was doing my stupid stuff. I was like acting like I was modeling on the rocks, and my dad was taking stupid photos. And back when I had like total dad jeans, like how I used to dress. But I just hope that obviously we all do that. Just there's some closure with all this shit.
Yeah, I hope they get it under control. The winds have calmed down. It should be, it should be easier to start controlling it. I think a lot of the damage is done. I don't know. So many pictures and videos are coming out of there, and you're seeing a lot of things. I don't know what I truly don't even know like what you can or can't do. I have a show, West Side Comedy Theater, this coming Thursday, the 16th. I'll be going down that, that'll probably be my first time heading down PCH. I'll probably avoid that route until then. So it'll be interesting. I can't even imagine where it starts and where it ends. And it's just crazy. It's crazy as a beachgoer, as a surfer, as a whatever, it's just, you're so used to certain things being in these places, and like as a surfer, these certain things on the shoreline mark things, and it's just going to be crazy to see some of those gone. And
well, it's also just coming out of nowhere.
Yeah.
You know, like at least with, not that it's better, but like at least with a hurricane, you're like, okay, this thing's coming, or the storm is, you know what I'm saying? Like I was obviously, you and I have so many people we follow on Instagram that are out there. And I was just looking at people, you know, not in the entertainment world, just people I'm friends with. And I'm like, they would do like they would show like a picture of the morning, and then like not even that many hours later, you're like, how this happened?
Yeah. It's crazy. And they're everywhere, which again is, you know, so many ways that these things can start when the winds are like that. I'm just glad everybody that I know seems to be, you know, okay, seems to have found their way to a safe place. You know, Eddie got out. That was good. Most of my friends in Hollywood, when that fire happened in the valley, they're good. You know, and hopefully everybody's, you know, at least took the things that were important to them and got out. I'm really hoping this settles down soon. It's crazy. And, you know, it's just nuts. There's so many things, you know, that are mismanaged, that make it easier for this stuff to happen.
Well, you know,
I just hate the politicizing of it. It's like, you know what kind of bureaucracy is bad? Government bureaucracy, not Democratic bureaucracy or Republican bureaucracy. Bureaucracy sucks and gets in the way of all this stuff.
That's kind of my, like, I couldn't help, and I actually haven't seen anybody say this, but I couldn't help but think of like Katrina in New Orleans.
Yeah.
As far as bureaucracy, I'm like, it's the same stuff.
Yeah.
And how that was mismanaged from a local to a national level, like you're saying, crossing lines politically, and you're like, we live in just, I mean, a bureaucratic state of, I think look, natural disasters for sure happen. I think things can be minimized, right? Or at least not as bad as they turn out on all these things, which sucks. And that's the real downer. And then, not to go too far into it, but then, you know, the whole insurance thing and the homeowners insurance, and like
State Farm just canceling them last year.
You know, it's, I've never had to deal with this until the last couple of years, because I own a home, and the premiums have never been higher, and they keep going up. And you know, the percentage of people who pay, like the percentage of their mortgage of being homeowners insurance / property taxes now is just, it's all.
Well, you know, what's incredible is, so my girlfriend and I, you know, she's just absolutely obsessed with buying a home. Like, it's her, like, she's like, she won't feel like she's successful till she buys a home. I have a lot of, you know, I've sort of got more. It's just not, especially being in California, it's just not that simple anymore, that the American dream is, and then I own my home. I mean, you can look at a million different studies. You can look at Warren Buffett talking about home ownership. You can look at how, essentially, if you're not going to pass your home on to another generation, it might not be worth buying a home. Like, that was kind of the whole idea of the American dream, was you buy a home, you pass it on to your kids. The money that you spend on a new water heater and a new roof and a whatever, that all pays for itself when your kids sell it 60 years from now. Yeah. But my girlfriend, obsessed, you know, will not feel like she's done anything in this life till she owns something. We love California. We love the areas of California, specifically Southern California, in and around LA, that were hit by this fire. We've looked in Malibu. We've looked in Palisades. We've looked in Topanga. Fun fact: there are very few insurance companies that will insure a new purchase You want to live in Topanga? You live there without homeowners insurance. That's fucking insane.
Yeah, it is insane.
So to all my cousins out there, all my Italian brethren, the Luigis, the Giancarlos, the whatever, you can probably Google insurance CEOs if you know what I'm saying. Well,
I just, it's something has to give. That's how I know. Again, and that's we're not even just talking California. We're talking Cincinnati, Ohio, where my premium. I'm like, what is happening here? How can anyone afford anything? Like I don't know. It's something has to give on a lot of this stuff, and it's just, at the end of the day, like I said, it's just sad that what I would deem some of the best natural beauty, there's nothing than that coastline to me is everything, and just to see it ravaged is just terrible. It's just absolutely terrible.
It's crazy.
But we will pivot from one fire to another fire with Shaq and Dwight Howard.
I don't even know what's going on. What's going on with Shaq?
You don't even know about their beef?
No. Is it about Superman?
Dude. I mean, this beef is the most pathetic. To me, we'll just go through it. Yeah, and that kind of is the heart of it all. We'll start with the call.
Okay.
We'll start with call. I'm glad you called, Millie, because I was actually reading this, waiting for. We were waiting to see the doctor, about the baby the other day, and so I was like going down the rabbit hole on my phone. But he called, and then we'll go through it. But yeah, Shaq and Dwight Howard are beefing, and to be honest, it's more of Shaq, in my opinion. I think he agrees with me. So let's play this.
Oh, here's the thing. A lot of times with beefs, you'll say shots fired. The one thing that we know in this beef is no shots are fired. Layups might be fired and dunks might be fired, but no shots are being fired whatsoever, because neither of these men hit a jump shot in their entire NBA careers. One locked in, already in their Hall of Famer, another one probably in the Hall of Fame. 2 Hall of Fame careers, not a shot made in their whole fucking careers.
That's a great point.
What's up, fellas? It's your boy, Millie. Calling in to talk about this Dwight Howard, Shaq beef going on recently. Look, I'm going to go ahead and say it. Shaq's got to stop being a petty bitch, man. This all stems from Dwight Howard wearing the Superman cape at the dunk contest like 20 years ago. And, Dwight Howard finally calls him out, and it's like, hey, dude, like, if you have a problem with me, why don't we just box? And now Shaq wants to use the hashtag, oh, I don't care about you, hashtag this, hashtag that. It's like, come on, Shaq, dude. Like, you don't have to do this shit, man. Like, you've been verbally assaulting Dwight for going on 20 years. And Dwight is sensitive, too. But at the same time, if you notice, Shaq talks down and breaks down any center who poses the slightest threat to his legacy of being one of the best basketball players ever. I hate it, but I will say I love Shaquille O'Neal. He's one of my favorite players. He's a great guy. I've met him before. I'm 99% sure that we are Eskimo brothers. That is a story for another day. But I just think he has to stop doing that shit, man. Like, you're too great of a player to just try to break down the next generation of centers that's coming up, man. I just want to hear what you guys have to say about that, man. And that's it. Stay dirty.
So we'll go through the history, because I wasn't fully, I knew that part of him wearing the Superman cape and the outfit for the dunk contest, but I wasn't fooled. Like, there's a lot more to this.
If you don't
history.
know, that's not okay. Because here's the thing. I'm Shaquille O'Neal. I'm Superman. A lot of people don't know this. I write the first comic book in 1921. I'm the first man to ever don the cape. You think that me being an NBA center in 1990, that I just started I just got a Superman tattoo? No, I created the brand. I am the original author and artist of the comic books. I made it okay for Christopher Reeves to play it in a movie. Am I cosplaying as a white superhero? No. I created it. A lot of people don't know that. Like,
Yeah.
what
So,
are we talking about?
well, so you said it for me. That's what I was going to say. Of like the origin of this. The origin of this is literally Shaq tweeting on November 19th, 2008. So you wear a cape and win a dunk contest, and they call you Superman. Which again, like we're saying, bro, I think you're both lame. Like Shaq, and we
Listen
both
to me,
like
Mr.
Shaq.
Wheelchair. Just because you play Superman in 4 movies doesn't mean you're Superman. Just because your face is synonymous with Superman and that you donned the tights before me doesn't mean you're Superman. I came into the league. I pulled down two basketball hoops. I supersede all Supermen.
It's like you're taking on the nickname of a character that's been around for how many years?
Yeah.
Like first of all, it's lame. I'll be honest, Shaq. Of all the nicknames, you took on the nickname of somebody who already had a nickname. Like there already is Clark Kent. His nickname is Superman.
Yeah.
And then you're mad at Dwight. So that's how it all started. But I guess the recent beef is Dwight Howard was on a podcast and they're talking about it. And I'll be honest, I'm not going to play. The clip's 5 minutes long. I don't even think Dwight says anything bad. All he's saying is like, dude, something along the lines of like, Shaq's been shitting on me for years, man. But he also says like, I don't want us to have a beef. He's not. I don't even think he was getting too personal with Shaq, to be honest. And then I'll just so it's been going on for all these years. So anyway, real quick, and I'll catch you up to then what Shaq tweeted. I'll put that on the screen. So Shaq does that in 2008, and then he again goes at him in 2012. How he's pushing his buttons to try to make him a better player. It's all lies. Come on, like you care. And then did you know this? I mean, talk about petty. Shaq posted a photoshopped image of himself from the Magic dunking on a photoshopped image of Howard on the Magic. And his caption said, "There can only be one Superman. #me." Bro, I don't know how many Supermans there have been in my lifetime, in your lifetime. How many Supermans have there been in movies?
And TV. And yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, like come on, Shaq.
Can we get a Dean Cain dunking on Shaq meme?
That's hilarious. And look, and I guess they started to beef again on Twitter and last month during the boxing match. So Dwight just did by the way, Dwight, this wasn't even Dwight tweeted at Shaq. Shaq, what's up with the boxing glove emoji? Let's make bread, as in like let's make money and fight.
Yeah.
Because they saw the money, obviously, that Tyson and Jake Paul made. And Shaq responded, "Gotta have one more ring to get in the ring with me. I'll stick with the real champion," and he tags Gronk. So you didn't win enough titles, is obviously what he's saying. You can have the Superman belt, all yours, buddy.
So weird.
And then
can we just talk? I mean, you can. It feels when we started this show and talking about something in the Malibu fire and all that's like that coastline meaning something to us at one point. What has a more dramatic fall from grace? The beautiful and gorgeous Malibu coastline that is now rubble and ash, or inside the NBA? That show is fucking embarrassing at this point. It's embarrassing.
So I haven't really. So obviously I like those guys.
Kenny Smith needs to get out while he still can, before he has 2 kryptonite fucking concrete boots on.
Why do you think it's embarrassing? It's just their takes at this point.
Shaq and Charles Barkley only have one take. Everybody that wasn't us
Sucks. Yeah.
Sucks.
I got
If you played before us, you were old and you stink. If you played after us, you soft and you stink. From 1992 to 2004 was the only time in the NBA that matters. Everything that happened before or after that stinks. You're soft. You're embarrassing. Only the weird middle ground of hand checking and then not hand checking and the shortened 3-point line. And like, you guys are embarrassing. You're fucking embarrassing.
Well, I mean,
every center that's not Shaq stinks. Every player that's better than Charles Barkley only does it because the era's soft. Charles, you're 6'4". You managed to play dominating power forward in the NBA. How good was the fucking league where I'm a power forward?
Look, I like Shaq. I like Charles Barkley. I see your point too.
But my point is,
I see your point.
Here's the thing about those guys. They went unchecked. They had a personality, and now their personality, they went unchecked, and now it's just your personality. Whatever that one thing in your personality that you like, or that like people give you attention for, it just grows and grows and grows and grows and grows and grows and grows. Again, crossing over the things. It's like we've talked about Twitter. We've talked about whatever. Elon Musk was fucking Rocket Boy. Now Elon Musk gets a little bit of attention for hopping into these things. And now look at Twitter. All he tweets about is the one little thing that fucking he got attention for. So now it's now the planet's on fire because of DEI. You're like, all these people just live in a vacuum, and people go, that's really, you know what I like, Charles? I like that you shit on new players and point out. He's like, you do? It's going to be my whole personality. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. The quality of the NBA is better than it's ever been. You're embarrassing yourself.
So here's my thing with Shaq. And I'll just pull up what here on the screen, his tweets, and it's like, here's my thing. He's saying, the fact that I care about you is funny, but I won't ever bring your name up again. Sensitive big man, a jokester that can't take a joke. Won't ever say your name again, ever again. Have a great day. And now you have been deleted. Have a great day. Hashtag I never cared. Hashtag trust me. Hashtag don't need validation. You do. Hashtag stay off podcast. Hashtag the fact that you think I care is funny. Hashtag you got to respect to get respect. Hashtag now you're dead to me. Here's my thing about that.
I say this Andy, I say this all the time to people on Twitter. People on the internet, whether it be Twitter, Instagram, or whatever. I'll put up a picture. I'll put up a post. I'll put up a video about Derek Jeter. I'll put up a video about Michael Jordan. I'll whatever. And then 500 replies from somebody. No one cares about your stupid podcast. Okay. It's the 12,000th comment that's going to tell me how much you don't care. Shaq, the 14th hashtag told me you fucking care a lot.
Yeah. Well, he cares enough because,
after he said he would never reply, he replied?
Yeah, he did.
Because
Dwight wrote, I know you care because your insecure ass been hating and talking shit for 20 years. You too big to be this insecure. I hope you don't bring up my name again. 52 years old, tweeting at me and still hating. And then he gets personal. Now, all this time you were joking. You've always been jealous of Kobe, Penny, D Wade. You're jealous of Charles too. Go move around, big, lazy, insecure ass. I still have that. Now he's saying he's got something on him, which he hasn't shown. I have that long 5-paragraph DM you sent me a couple years ago. Tell me that I was that great, that I'm not that great to hate. And you still doing it. It's 2025. Grow up. And then Shaq, they just keep going back and forth. Shaq does respond. Here's my thing. Here's my thing on all this. Like with Shaq responding and all this. Shaq, and you and I have talked about this. You're one of the best centers of all time. Also, we've talked about as far as just domination. That like all the great NBA careers we've seen, like heyday. I'm talking about the adjective dominant, like that word in specific, like specifically. I never saw anyone dominate like I would in those finals, like Shaq. He knows that. So my thing is, why are you even doing this with Dwight Howard, who for sure was, a great defender, never had an offensive game. Obviously, he will be a Hall of Famer, but the greats aren't going to go down to this level. Why are you doing this? Is what I'm saying. Like I'm trying
because because listen, do you think there's 10 athletes? Maybe there's 10. Do you think there's 15 athletes in the history of the dirty sports I've shit on more than Dwight Howard? I mean, I shit on Dwight Howard. But he's 100% right. All of these things, all the people I just listed, it's all insecurity. It's all insecurity.
But my point is, even for people that we've maybe had issues with or whoever, you're not going to see Tom Brady, Michael Jordan, LeBron,
They're not insecure.
Derek Jeter, even Derek, they're not going to be beefing with somebody on Twitter.
They're not insecure. And it's not about the beefing on Twitter. Shaq's been doing this the whole dude. It's all
20 years
together. It's all the things together. Dude, your show sucks now. Because it's just you guys saying basketball's not good. Why am I even watching basketball if all you guys do is tell me it's not good? This game sucks. Everybody's soft. 3-pointers. Enough. I can't take it. All right, fine. I'm not going to watch. This sucks. You get paid. You get paid. You get paid. You don't have neither Shaq nor Charles Barkley have a platform other than the general commercials if they aren't on TV talking about basketball. Why are you shitting on basketball so much? No, I'll tell you one thing. Inside 20-year-old YouTube clips is not a show. No one wants you and Kenny and Shaq and Ernie sitting around watching the 1993 Portland Trailblazers. It's not a show. It's insecurity, dude. It's insecurity. Michael Jordan isn't tweeting at people, like you said.
Yeah, it's just crazy to me, again, because we know what you did, Shaq. You won 3 straight finals MVPs where you were just so dominant.
But he heard that Kobe was listen, do you remember Kobe how my ass taste?
Yeah.
He was insecure about his teammate, dude.
I just wonder what it stems from, because normally greats aren't. I would say I would probably stereotype most greats as not being too insecure. I don't know.
All the inside the NBA is now him and Charles talking about how they don't care about so and so, and then talking nonstop. Keep my name out your mouth. I'm just going to do 25 more episodes of this about you. Keep my name out your mouth.
Yeah.
And every day somebody does something better than every fucking day. The stats come out. Victor Wembanyama, through this many games in his career, has made more threes than Steph Curry. I don't want some league where the guy's making this many threes. You're not Steph Curry. Get in the lane. Simultaneously, Victor Wembanyama has dunked more than Shaquille O'Neal through X amount of games. It's like he's better than both of you. You're insecure about it. I'm like, dude, I'm embarrassed. How fucking lame would it be if Tom Brady and Tony Romo and Troy Aikman, dude, how terrible would the broadcast be if Troy Aikman and Joe Buck, Troy was just like, back in my day, we didn't fucking scramble. You just stood in the pocket and you took your lumps and you got your CTE and that was it.
Yeah.
Troy will be like, like this athleticism never existed. He'll like laugh. He'll be like, the idea is like, when that would happen to me, I would just lay down. I couldn't like escape and scramble and turn it into a 40-yard gain. Like the athletes
that's
are
why
crazy.
Collinsworth is like, he's like the anti, because he slurps probably too many guys, but you know what I'm saying? Like that's what he's always like, oh my God, I could never do this.
It's just so embarrassing, dude. It's so embarrassing. And it's sad because those guys were the best.
Well,
they were the best. Now they're the worst.
Well, that brings me to the point that I was thinking about, that I wrote down, of like the sensitivity. I said, I feel, and I could be wrong, I feel like the NBA, the former, I mean, it sounds like we're kind of agreeing, like the former NBA players in particular are way more sensitive than the former players from the other sports. Like without a doubt, it's not even close.
It's not even close.
Like you said, most of the other sports are always.
And
you listen to a John Smoltz,
specific like window of guys.
Yeah, no, it is. But like you listen to like a John Smoltz, even like in baseball, you listen to John Smoltz, all he does is be like, man, what these guys can do and blah blah blah. But for some reason, a lot of these NBA guys are like, it's a back in my day type of thing.
Ted Williams is arguably one of the greatest hitters of all time. All he would do is he would, like in his later years, all he would do is sit around and like talk hitting with Tony Gwynn and sit around and talk hitting with this guy and that guy. And you know what he'd say shit like, never faced a slider. I just didn't have like, you know how different the game is that you guys are facing sliders and I never had to face a slider. I never had to face a cutter. He's like, you think I would hit 409 against cutters? You think Mariano Rivera throwing a cutter in at my hands and I'm hitting 410? He's like, it's crazy what's happening in baseball. Meanwhile, Shaq's like, there's not enough Mark Eatons in the league.
Mark Eaton.
Not enough completely unqualified men who just happen to be born to gigantic parents standing in the lane causing mayhem with their absolute, complete, and total clumsiness.
I need more Rick Smith.
Yeah, Victor Wembanyama shooting threes, but back in my day, I had to worry about not stepping on Chris Dudley's feet. It's embarrassing. It's bad for the sport. If the NBA was smart, like it's crazy that we're talking about it. Like 5 years in, we talked about this when inside the NBA looked like it was like on its way out. 5 years ago, that would be devastating to an NBA fan. Now it might actually be better for the game.
Well, look, I mean, again, overall, I've always enjoyed. I guess we have to look at it in particulars. Like, there's enjoyment in them ball busting each other. That's for sure. That's a huge part of it.
But in analyzing the league now,
yeah,
here's the thing. LeBron James is so much better than Charles Barkley. It's not even fucking funny. But now every day on Inside the NBA, Lakers stink. They stink. Okay. Why are you talking so much about the seventh best team in the West? Why are you obsessed with the seventh best team in the West? That's all. It's the same thing that happens on my socials because I put up a fucking Juan Soto thing. Good job being the third best team in the NL East. You guys are obsessed with the third best team in the NL East. Philadelphia Eagles are obsessed with the worst team in the NFC East. Why? Because you're insecure. You're lying through your fucking teeth. The Lakers stink. Why are you talking about them? Andy Laz and I do Dirty Slides. We have a rule. We don't talk about under 500 teams because they don't matter. You guys ready for 40 minutes on why the Lakers is trash? Keep your name out of my mouth, JJ Redick. Okay.
Oh, man.
Why are you so obsessed with Lakers? Why? Because the Lakers' best player constantly gets talked about as the all-time greatest, and you are jealous. And it's embarrassing. Joe Montana's not showing up on broadcast. Patriots 10-7 with Matt Castle. How'd that go for you? How Tom Brady, how my ass taste?
I do want to see Joe Montana show up doing Shaq's voice.
Kiss my sketches.
Kiss my Skechers. Yeah. I know.
How many Super Bowl rings do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4. How many losses I have? None. How about you, Tom Brady? Shape up. Get yourself some sketches and shape up so you don't keep losing to Eli Manning. You embarrassing.
Hashtag I'm better than you. Hashtag I'm the real GOAT.
Hashtag I don't care.
You're dead to me.
Hashtag you couldn't fit in my sketches.
Oh man.
It's so fucking sad, dude. There is a time I would bet anything you could go back to the Dirty Sports podcast in the 200 episodes, 300 episodes in. And we're like, we've had the version of this call so many fucking times. If you guys could play a golf foursome with three athletes, if you guys could go to if you were in a 6-pack of beers, who are the other 5 beers you'd want in the 6-pack with you? If you guys were sitting in box seats at a Dodgers game, who would you want to share that with? I guarantee you Charles Barkley made some of our lists.
Yeah, for sure.
And now it's embarrassing. I don't want to, dude. You think I want to go to a sit in box seats at a fucking Dodgers game? And let's go. Back in my day, Dodger dogs, they used to cost $2. And people were getting stabbed in the parking lot. Now everybody's soft. No one can afford a knife anymore. Dodgers dogs costing $18.
Oh man. Yeah, it's pretty. The whole thing is so ridiculous. You're beefing with Dwight Howard, man. Come on. Do you want to preview some playoffs?
Yeah.
Do you have some Miller Lite? Your 6-pack of Miller Lite picks?
I do. I have a 6-pack. I have three predictions for a Miller Lite 6-pack of playoff predictions. Some of these are, well, at least one of them is kind of a I guess it kind of steps on our picks, but like we're not really picking games anymore because you already won.
Yeah.
You soft though. You didn't win in 2014. How was your pick game back then? Back when picks mattered. Back when you had to get your purple hair. How'd you do in those picks? I don't fucking. Anyway, yeah, I've 3 predictions for the Miller Lite 6-pack of predictions.
Okay, well, obviously we'll preview, but let's do our 6-pack of predictions real quick. You have 3, I have 3. Miller Lite 6-pack of predictions. I will start off first this week. Big prediction, not really, I guess. You're going to pick the same thing. Rams will beat the Vikings.
Ooh.
It's one of my Miller Lite 6-pack of predictions. And I'm going to put a little caveat as well, with not a caveat, but a little something to add to that. A future prediction. JJ McCarthy will be the week 1 starter next year for the Minnesota Vikings.
Wow. So is and that's in one prediction?
Yeah, that's one prediction.
That's a tall boy. We're doing 6-pack of tall boy predictions right now. All right. I like it. I think we'll break that game down a little bit more. My first one is Denver. The Denver Broncos play the Buffalo Bills tight. I think it's a close game. I don't believe in the Broncos. I do believe in the Bills. I think that the Bills will appear in the AFC Championship game. And I've kind of hated on the Broncos and Bo Nix, but the idea that this is a 8.5 point spread game when the Broncos have a pretty darn good defense. I'm picking the Bills to win, but the Broncos to play a nice close game. And I think that could be good. That's good for their franchise.
I like that prediction, and I agree. All right, my second prediction will delve more into that game. Josh Allen will have at least 3 combined touchdowns. Not a crazy prediction, but
Okay.
I think I'm predicting. Actually, let's go farther. Let's do a more accurate prediction. Josh Allen will throw for 2 touchdowns and rush for a touchdown.
Wow.
That's my
Okay.
prediction.
I like it. Speaking of quarterbacks and the quality of play that you'll get out of them, I am predicting a mediocre at best Jalen Hurts performance in his first week back off of injury / rest layoff. I think that the Eagles can win and may win that game, but it is going to be on the back of Saquon Barkley. I think we get a mediocre at best Jalen Hurts performance. I don't know how long I've been doing this. And it's crazy to me that people continue to hate on me. The same people that are upset that I'm not a Jalen Hurts believer are the people that were upset I wasn't a Carson Wentz believer, which is crazy to me. How many times are you going to do this? The people that are upset that I'm not a Nick Sirianni believer are the ones that were upset that I wasn't a Doug Peterson believer, are the ones that are upset that I wasn't a Chip Kelly time of possession doesn't matter believer. This is not an anti-Eagles take. This is I don't see it. I saw the backups come in and play as well as Jalen Hurts. I know Kenny Pickett's not squatting 600 pounds, but he can get a half yard when he's getting butt fucked by Saquon Barkley. Mediocre performance, which will put the Eagles in danger of losing that game.
All right, I'm going to do my last Miller Lite 6-pack prediction. The Steelers do not score more than 17 points. Their offense has just looked bad. And a little bonus prediction, Justin Fields will get significant playing time in the second half of that game.
Wow. This is giving me vibes from There Will Be Blood, where Daniel Plainville is like, I've abandoned my boy. I've abandoned my child. Say it. I've abandoned my child.
Well, look, I'm not abandoning. My thing is I'm just calling as I see it. I just don't see them scoring. And we'll get into it. I want your opinion on how everything plays out if it does play out this way.
But now when you say Justin Fields gets significant playing time in the second half, what you're saying, and maybe that is that their offense doesn't look good and that Mike Tomlin views the quarterback as the reason that offense doesn't look good.
I'm saying we got to do something.
Okay.
Whether that's mixing him in on a ton more runs, whether he takes over for us, I just see, do or die, win, go home. So he's like, we got to do something. He puts Justin Fields in way more in the second half.
My final prediction in my 6-pack of predictions is the Washington-Tampa Bay game will be under the 50.5 point total. I say this for 2 reasons. Everybody looking at this game of, Jaden Daniels can be explosive. Baker Mayfield can be explosive. Jaden Daniels is a rookie quarterback in the playoffs. I don't count on huge first game performances from rookie quarterbacks in the playoffs. So I see a slow start for Jaden Daniels combined with a Baker Mayfield who, sometimes you get 40-point games. And then sometimes magically, even though it almost never happens, you get 4-point games. Sometimes he just can't get it together. So I think when you combine the hot and coldness of Baker Mayfield with a rookie quarterback, I'm going under the Washington-Tampa Bay game, which is actually the highest point total for Super Wildcard Weekend.
Yeah, so I like that. That was actually when I was looking at that over-under. I like it. All right, well, let's hop into the games. We have 2 on Saturday, 3 on Sunday, and then the Monday night game. Saturday, we start off with Chargers-Texans. Chargers are 3-point favorites. I like the Chargers to win this game. I love the thought of a Chargers-Chiefs divisional round in Arrowhead. I like it. I think the Chargers have the defense. They have the game plan of we're just going to trust Justin Herbert. Only 3 interceptions in the season. Now, he didn't throw for many touchdown passes, only 23, but it was like, we have a defense now. We're going to run the ball with these guys who got off the scrap heap, the guys who were injured, who they signed, and Harbaugh's basically saying, I have no problem beating you 13-10.
Right. Precisely what I was going to say about this game. I like the Chargers in this game. I think the 3-point spread is
perfect.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that this will be a good football game that, based on score and score alone, will be anybody's game down the stretch. I don't see the Chargers dominating this game. As bad as Houston's been, as disappointing as they've been in CJ Stroud's sophomore season, where last year they looked fantastic, they've been through a lot of injuries. I think that they put up a good fight in this game. I think it's a good football game. It's going to be a great start to wild card weekend or super wild card weekend or whatever we're calling it. But I do like the Chargers to win this game, but I think that they get tested right out of the gate. It's a road game.
Yeah.
And they're going to play some defense against a defensive minded coach. I think this is an old school defensive battle, but I do like the Chargers to win. That being said, if we're both predicting it's a 1-score game, anything's possible, but I'm with you. I like the Chargers.
For sure. I think anything's possible. Stroud does have playoff experience. That's going to help. Their coach has playoff experience. That's all going to help. But I mean, we look at coach, quarterback, defense when we're picking playoff games. I think Harbaugh's a better coach. He's got the experience. Statistically, the Chargers do have a better defense. And I'd say they have a better quarterback. Now, the funny part is Justin Herbert has never won a playoff game. So he needs to get that first playoff game in. Okay, your nighttime game, we have Steelers-Ravens, 9.5 Ravens favorites. All week I've been saying I don't think the Steelers have a chance, and I really don't think they do. The Steelers are just at an interesting spot at this point. Like, we always talk about Mike Tomlin. They haven't won a playoff game since 2016. And that's really what matters. Now, he had an aging Big Ben for those last few years, but still, it's like, what if they lose? And we both think they will. Do they just say, look, man, we need to mix it up. We need some new blood in here. But hold on real quick. It's like you don't have a quarterback though, so that's a huge question mark.
Yeah, I think that here's the good news, bad news for the Steelers. The good news for the Steelers is I think that Mike Tomlin's done it again. He's gotten them to the playoffs, no losing seasons, whatever. I think that you can look at the coach and say, we're a team that doesn't fire our coach. We're not firing. You know how many teams would scoop up Mike Tomlin in a second? Mike Tomlin is not getting fired. Okay. That being said, the quarterback situation, you got Russ to come in, went on a win streak, looked pretty good. Bad news, he started looking pretty shit. But the silver lining is maybe he saved you from making a terrible decision. This idea that Russell Wilson, 3 years, $100 million, Band-Aid QB, he's not our long-term guy, but we can sign him for cheaper than the blah, 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 sign blah, 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 and we get stability there. Don't do it. This is not the play. Unless you want to keep doing this. I hate to say it, but you do the 3-year Russ deal. You know who you are? You're the Seahawks at the end of the Russ tenure there. Cool. You win 9-10 games every year. Cool. You make the playoffs. Cool. You lose in the first round. It is worse in the NFL to be mediocre than it is to be terrible.
So long-term, it's better for them to lose than win is what you're saying. for the franchise.
Yeah, I think so. I think. Well, unless they lose and they sign Russ anyway. I just think that you want to do a Band-Aid deal with Russ for next year and then try to move up in the draft and take a quarterback that you like to play under him. Okay. You want to trot Justin Fields out there again because you got him even cheaper and find another quarterback to sit behind him. Okay. If you tie yourself to Russ Wilson, we have a Super Bowl window here. Our defense plays good. Russ only played a half a season with us or 2/3 of a season with us. He's the guy. I like his stability. Our quarterback room's great. Good fucking luck. Not in that division, not in that conference. Russell Wilson is not the fucking answer.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I know you said he's not going to be fired, and I don't think he will either. I mean, the offense is not even averaging 15 points a game in the last 3 games. It's like, conversely, the defense has given up a lot of points the last 3 games. So look, something has to give.
That's Matt Canada's fault. Oh wait, he was like fired last year, wasn't he?
Well, that's a point I actually wanted to bring up.
Nothing makes me laugh harder than the offense stinks. The fan base turns on the offensive coordinator thing.
Yeah, but they've had I'll be honest though, the coordinators, like when they hired Arthur Smith, I was like, this is who you're going with? Like I just feel like they never have. When's the last time the Steelers had an innovative offensive coordinator? Bruce Arians? But do you see my point? Like,
no, well, who'd they have after him who was a head coach and
the guy from the Chiefs?
And they fucking hated him.
The guy from the Chiefs.
And his offense was great. But the Steelers fans, they love Mike Tomlin and they'll never question how good
Todd Haley. Is that what you're talking about?
They hated Todd Haley. They hated him. Here's the thing about the Steelers organization and Steelers fans. At some point, again, this is Taylor Swift and her boyfriends. Every Taylor Swift boyfriend is a narcissist. Every Mike Tomlin offensive coordinator is inept. Mike Tomlin is an underrated GOAT top 5 NFL head coach, but he only hires disastrous offensive coordinators. Top 5 coach in the league. Can't pick an offensive coordinator to save his life. It's always the offensive coordinator's fault. Always. At some point, Steelers fans got to start going, maybe Mike Tomlin's boyfriends aren't all narcissists.
Zay Flowers will not play. I don't think it really matters. Obviously, that's one weapon for Lamar. He's had a great year. Now, here's the thing. I believe Lamar's 2-8 against the Steelers in his career. So Tomlin has kind of cracked that code so far as this is how we play Lamar. But I just think they're playing at home. The Steelers don't look good. And I think it's good for Lamar and the Ravens that they're under the radar, actually. I think it's good.
What are your thoughts on the 9.5? We're obviously not picking games against each other.
My gut is telling me Steelers lose by 7 or 8.
I was going to say, here's my take. I think this has backdoor Russ potential, but it's not really a football game.
Yeah, I agree.
So we have here, I'm putting together a little dirty sports parlay. And right now we got Chargers money line, Ravens money line. Now that's not crazy, but we'll mix it up.
Yeah, I agree with those. I totally agree with those. All right, Bills. And we already alluded to this. Bills, Broncos. We're going to agree on this one too. I do think the Broncos cover. But I also wouldn't be surprised if this is just like a disaster 1st-round playoff game for Bo Nix.
Mm-hmm.
And he has 2 turnovers.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't be shocked. But I think the Bills stay in it. I'm sorry, the Broncos stay in it. Like you said, they have a defense. They can get after the quarterback.
Yeah. I think the thing with the Bills is Bills aren't just going to – I think the Bills could play in the AFC Championship game. I think the Bills could play in the Super Bowl. But this idea that this Bills team is just some sort of, machine that's going to run through teams, I just don't see it. I think that they've got a great quarterback. They're well coached. I like what they did this year. I'm on the Bills, but I think the Bills have a potential like every game, like they could be in the Super Bowl and it's like, God, they won 4 playoff games or 3 playoff games by a combined 14 points to get to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I I agree. I think it'll be interesting. Here's what I'm looking forward to in both the Ravens and the Bills. Again, it's the 6th year with the QB coach combo. That stat I just think is such a great stat. Can they buck the trend? Can somebody actually win a Super Bowl in their 6th year? I think that game's close. Obviously, Denver used to weather, used to snow. I don't think that's really going to be a factor. I'm assuming it's going to snow. Packers, Eagles. This is an interesting one. Billy's up to 4.5 points favorite.
Mm-hmm.
No, who's out? Watson?
Yep.
Jordan Love was injured last game. I think, again, we're probably both going to agree that we think the Packers cover.
Yep.
Do you think the Packers win?
I think they can win. I don't know if they do win, but I think they can win, and I think they can win by stealing the Eagles strat. It's funny. I think that the Packers approach should be exactly what the Eagles approach is, which is Josh Jacobs, run the ball, shorten the game, and then give yourself a chance with a good quarterback. The counterpoint to that is that's exactly what the Eagles will do. Let's hope that the Eagles have that lead and then they can 4-minute offense, Saquon Barkley their way out of the game, because vice versa, I don't like the Eagles' chances. I don't like the Eagles' chances of driving the ball down at the end of the field to win a game with Jalen Hurts. I think Jalen Hurts is going to have a mediocre performance. That doesn't mean I don't think that they can win the game that way, but that's what makes a great quarterback. All those moments where, all right, we played ourselves in this position. We're down 4 points. We need a touchdown. There's 1 minute and 38 seconds left. Go get one. I have faith in Jordan Love being able to do that against many teams, including this Eagles team, although I think the Eagles defense is great. I don't have the confidence in Jalen Hurts doing that. I think Jalen Hurts is suited to run the clock out. That's how Jalen Hurts is going to win games. Now, I think the Packers cover. I just don't know. Without his best receiver and without, I mean, I'm not going to pick them to win, but I think that they could win.
Yeah, I think the Eagles win. I think it's close. I think the Packers are going to have to run the ball. And conversely, they're going to have to stop the run. At least minimize Saquon. He's such a dynamic back. But I think neither of us would be shocked if the Eagles lose.
No, I certainly won't be shocked. I have no Eagles, no Lions in the Super Bowl. So,
which I think is fascinating, given that there's not too many options here. Okay, Commanders, Bucks, Sunday night. We both agree it's not going to be as high scoring as everybody's anticipating. I think the Bucks win. I think experience helps. I think they're at home. First playoff game. You know, Jaden Daniels, he wins this. That's a You start your career off with a road playoff win. That would be so impressive.
I think he wins. I think the Washington Commanders win this game.
Wow. A little upset pick of the week, huh?
Well, last year, here's the thing. Last year, Bucks beat Eagles. Right?
Yeah.
Bucks beat Eagles. That was
in Tampa because Bucks won the division.
Yeah, Bucks won the division. Everybody was like, "Oh my God, Bucks beat the Eagles," but it's like that's what they won the division. They have a home game. They go out. They beat the division. I think Baker Mayfield and this guy from game in to game out. You get this one quarterback. You get that one quarterback. You get this one quarterback. You get that one quarterback. I think when I put the Baker Mayfield's always a coin flip. They got good Baker Mayfield last Super Wildcard weekend. This week, Super Wildcard weekend, they don't. I got Commanders money line.
Wow. Wow. So here's what I find interesting. I think if the Commanders do win, it would be a shootout. I don't think the Commanders can win a close, lower scoring game, in my opinion.
Haven't they only won close, lower scoring games like throughout the whole year? They got the fucking this game and that. Like they got how many games did they win? Like when they were like playing well and when
they're top 5 scoring offense is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
and they're in the bottom half of the league in defense points per game. I don't know. That's just how I feel. I feel if it's a low scoring game, they can't win. It's a high scoring game. I like their chances better. But I'm still sticking with the Bucks. Vikings Rams Monday night, scheduled to be in LA. We'll see. Minnesota
that shouldn't be an issue. I mean, you fly into LAX, you get to Englewood.
But you know what they say. Englewood, always up to no good.
Yeah. You know what else they say? Here, let me tell you guys something about Englewood. Not a lot of wood in Englewood. Not a lot of trees catch fire there.
No. Minnesota's a 1-point favorite. The Rams already beat the Vikings in Englewood earlier in the year. One of their 3 losses. That's why I predicted the Rams win again. Darnold doesn't look good. And they say we can't, like, we reached our ceiling with Sam Darnold. We won 14 games. We're not winning playoff games, and then we're going to go with J.J. McCarthy.
Listen, the Vikings had an opportunity last week.
Oh, yeah.
To not just get the 1 seed, not just play at home, not just whatever, but to say we are fucking legit.
Mm-mm.
We are not to be trifled with. But sadly, I think that the Detroit Lions gave the Rams a playbook. The smackdown that they put on the Lions. And here's the thing about Sam Darnold and the ceiling. Sam Darnold, as you said last episode, missed a lot of throws. And he's made a lot of throws this year. Almost felt like the playoffs started 1 week early for the Vikings, and the playoff pressure was too much for Sam Darnold. Now, a lot of times you see a quarterback, you go, the playoff pressure was too much for him. He was one and done. It wasn't actually a playoff game last week, so he couldn't be one and done. Now we'll be one and done.
Yeah, but it was. I agree. But you know what my thing was? He was missing, like, you're missing high. He was missing Justin Jefferson. You're missing your star receiver so much that he can't even recover the bad pass and catch it.
Right.
Like he can't make you look good.
He can't even do the one-handed
Cousins.
Spider-Man. Kirk Cousins beats the Bills. How you hating on Kirk Cousins? He just beat the Bills in Buffalo. He overthrew his wide receiver by 14 yards, but the guy fucking threw a web up to the fucking upper deck, went upside down, kissed Mary Jane, and fucking reeled it in.
The Rams are an interesting team to me. I if they win this week, I think they are an interesting young team with nothing to lose, a defense that's pretty good, a veteran quarterback. You got an MVP wide receiver, a Super Bowl MVP wide receiver in Cooper Kupp. You got obviously Puka, a nice little run game, a coach who knows how to use his weapons. I want them to win. I know I'm all over the map. I know I was like, oh, the Vikings is a cool story. Yeah, that Darnold game, that's all I needed to see. I know it's just one game. That's all I needed to see.
We just talked about my prediction, no Eagles, no Lions. Now here's something about the NFL playoffs. They reseed. So the Lions will get the lowest seeded team that wins. If all the favorites win, Lions have Rams, which they had last year, and it wasn't a blowout. It was a pretty good game.
Yeah,
Matthew Stafford back in Detroit, a coach that we both like more, a quarterback that we both like more. If the Packers upset the Eagles, they'd go to Detroit. Division game. Third time meeting this year. If the Commanders win and the 6 or 7 seed don't, the Commanders go there. Of those 3 teams I just listed, the team that I think gives the Lions the worst game, but also now we're talking about want to have a shootout? Want to have a 37-34 game? Last team to have the ball wins? I don't think that Jaden Daniels and the Commanders can go in and beat the Lions, but I don't think that they don't have a shot to. Meanwhile, I love the Rams' chances against the Lions after a bye. I love, should they win, the Packers' chances versus the Lions after a bye.
Yeah.
Packers are my Super Bowl pick to start the year. Just want to point this out. Packers are my Super Bowl pick. Hold on.
Of ours.
Packers are both of our Super Bowl pick to start the year. They're the 7 seed. They get Philly first. If they win, they get Detroit. I have no Detroit or Philly in the Super Bowl. Does that mean I have the Packers going to the Super Bowl right now? No. But if Jordan wants some love from me, who picked him to go to the Super Bowl, checking those 2 off in the next 2 weeks would make me very happy.
Be huge, man.
I'll fucking wear a wheel of brie on my head. I'll bathe in a fucking... I'll bathe in a pile of Swiss. Put me in a fondue hot tub. I'm a cheese everywhere. Forget cheese head. I'm a cheese asshole. I'm a cheese taint. I'm a cheese. Cover me in cheese.
Bet that would be stinky, man. So stinky. Okay. I feel like we're all picking the same.
So let's make a dirty sports parlay.
Okay.
Chargers money line. We love it.
No, I think it's a push.
No, money line. Chargers to win.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Chargers to win. You love it?
Yeah, for sure.
Ravens to win. You love it?
Love it.
Do we love Broncos plus 8.5? We both like it. Do we love it?
I like it.
Do we like Broncos plus 8.5, or do we like Packers plus 4.5 more?
Broncos, actually.
Ooh.
That's me.
Okay. We're not in on the Commanders together. You like the Bucks.
I do.
I'm going to say we like the Packers plus 4.5, though.
Okay.
Do we like or love the Rams money line?
I really like it.
All right. Rams money line, Broncos, Packers with the points, Ravens money line, Chargers money line. That's a 5-team Dirty Sports parlay.
I like it. 5-team. There you go.
I'll say this. I like although I did make it I like that. Let's do it. Dirty Sports approved.
Okay. All right. There it is. Week 1.
I'm so fucking excited for these games.
Yeah, me too. Get my playoff games in.
I'm not. I think they're going to be terrible. Football's not fun if people are wearing face masks. If there ain't at least one bloody nose in every quarter, is it even really the NFL? It's disgusting. It's despicable. I haven't seen a full house backfield in over 60 years. If every third play isn't a toss to Red Grange, are we even playing this game? You know these footballs aren't even made out of pig skin anymore.
Oh man.
You got these gloves with the stickum on them, and you catching a football that ain't even made out of pig skin. It's too easy. Forward pass, ruining the game. Every quarterback out there thinking he's Steph Curry. What happened to the good old days? Trips option, playing Navy to a 6-3 game.
It's like Shaq like he's the official OK Boomer.
Yeah.
He's like the NBA spokesperson of OK Boomer. We do have a hotline, guys. You can call whenever you want. 310-359-8365. Give a shout.
Give a visit to the new joeprano.com, specifically the shows tab. I got a bunch of shows coming up. Put them all on there. The first and most important one, not the first on the timeline, but the first in priority. Joe Prano headlining Last Best Comedy in Bozeman, Montana, January 31st, the last day of January. I'm so excited. I'm flying in on the 30th. Got a brand new snowboard for Christmas. Gonna do some snowboarding on Friday and Saturday, maybe even a little snowboarding on Sunday. Definitely going to do 2 shows at Last Best, one of my favorite clubs in the whole country. The weekend before, I'll be up in the Central Coast, San Luis Obispo area, doing 2 Don't Tell shows to prep for my first headlining weekend in a hot minute. So if you're on the Central Coast, come see those shows. If you're in Bozeman, Montana, come see those shows. If you're in and around Los Angeles, I got a bunch of local shows coming up, including at our friend Dennis Gubbins' West Side Comedy Party next Thursday in Santa Monica. Follow me on all social media at Joe Prano, except Twitter, where I'm not Joe Prano.
All righty, guys. That's our show. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll see you guys on Monday. Stay safe out there in Cali. Have a great weekend. And as always, stay dirty.